How's everyone been? That's good.
You miss us?
I do, a little bit. I'm probably the only guy that would probably say that.
5 minutes.
Well, what's been this day like for you coming back?
It's been good. I just, felt like it was time. I wasn't waiting for anything specific, but schedules coincided, and we were able to plan this. And my kids are getting older, so I wanted them to come back and, see a little bit of what their dad did, and just receive the love from some of the guys on the field and things like that.
Saw you talking to Richard Sherman out there. What were you guys talking about?
Just the game, how I'm doing, after football. Joe made a comment, we're just football players, so how's real life really going? But it's been great, talking to, Richard and him trying to get those young guys on the pace just reminds me of some of the things that I went through, when Pat and those guys retired and things like that. So just football stuff, nothing specific.
Is it weird to see him in a Niners uniform?
It was a little bit, but I was kind of keeping up with it when he came over. So it's just good to see he's committed and excited to be here.
Well, why was it important to retire as a member of this team?
Well, I was a guy coming from District Heights, Maryland, and this was the organization that chose to, let me play in the NFL. And I just felt like, where you start at is no matter how things are going to go, relationships are going to go up and down all the time, but you always remember how it was and remember the blood and sweat and tears of the guys that you played with and the respect that you earned that's not given to you. And I feel like the 49ers is my home. It's a place that loved me from the start, so I wanted to come back and retire as a Niner, and they welcomed me, so I'm glad it happened.
When did you officially know you were going to, like when you say, okay, I am a retired football player, when was that?
Honestly, when things start to just waver and, you just feel like, okay, you're not being looked at the same. Are you depending on this? No. Okay, then you can retire. So that's what happened. I have no regrets, and I remember Coach Singletary always saying he did a burnout out the parking lot when he retired, and that's just the way I wanted to ride out too. Ever since he told me, so when I felt like it was time for me to get out of it, I got out of it.
Did you have opportunities to play last year?
Yeah, tons, but it wasn't. The respect just wasn't there. I mean, at the end of the day, I know what I am. I know what I'm worth. I know what you're going to ask me to do if I do sign this contract. So I just wanted to get compensated for that. And it wasn't working out, so I hung them up.
It didn't work out for you back in 2017 here 2 years ago, it seemed, and you left the team, joined the Raiders. Was that an awkward time for you to leave, and was there any awkwardness when you came back and saw Kyle and John today?
No, it wasn't awkward. I've always been, doubted or whatever you want to call it, but, I just felt like it was a challenge. And, I played that Thursday night, learned their whole playbook in like 2 days. So it's really, the game is what I know, so if I'm healthy, I'm able to run around, let me play. And some of those things started to change, and that's why that happened. But today was great. I wouldn't be here if I had any bad feelings towards anybody in the organization. So I'm just glad everyone welcomed me with open arms, and I'm glad to be a Niner forever.
You were joking around on the field that you were going to intercept Jimmy Garoppolo and return. Now, you did that against Matt Ryan in Atlanta, the pick at the stick.
Yeah.
Was that your favorite play in a 49er uniform, or was there a certain tackle or fumble forced or anything like that that was better?
That's the fans' favorite play. But, I think there's a lot of favorite plays. I don't know. I talk to Cheese about plays all the time, but, it's kind of like the bad plays I got robbed with. Those are my favorite plays because I feel like, if my knee was torn and they gave me the ball, that would have been like a good play there. And Ahmad Bradshaw ripped the fumble out. They didn't call it a fumble. Those are the plays. But a play that went through and worked, the pick of the stick is good. I'll take that.
Looking back on the knee injury, obviously you overcame a lot to get back from it. Is there any just painful, just looking back on this, going, well, I wonder what my career would have been had that play not happened?
Yeah, that one play. You know, you want to be a football player. I just always say, like, should I have just let him score? You know, and then maybe I'll be playing 12, 13 years, you know, 6-time All-Pro. I don't know, but I was giving everything for my teammates. So, you know, that's what happens. That's why they say it's 100% injury rate in this game. But the fans recognize, and that's why I played the game, just to, you know, get the love from the fans and the respect from my fellow players.
When you broke down the huddle today, what was your message to the team?
Just understanding that this is a team game. You know, you win together, you lose together. It's a family, and you know that you're playing for a special organization. You know, I had a little bit more to say, but you know, those years where we were really successful. You know, we really had a really good defense. You just can't get that. You know, you just don't get that easy. That doesn't come together too often. So, you know, if you could just find that in your team or in this group of guys, then y'all had something special. But I didn't get to say that, but that's what I wanted to say.
Can you describe the emotion? Where do you think you and Pat stand in history and just in terms of linebacker duos?
No, I'd be lying if I wouldn't say the best. You know, we honestly committed ourselves to the game, to our team, to one another. It didn't matter who got the tackle or, you know, who was making the call or whatever it may be. If he did it, I did it. If I did it, he did it. And I think that's what showed and made us a great group to play with.
Have you talked to him recently?
Yeah, I talked to him the other day. Probably go over his house in a second.
Talk about retirement?
Talk about retirement, you know, maybe have a beer or two, you know, and just reminisce.
What are you up to now that you're back in D.C., and what's next for NaVorro Bowman?
I don't know. I'm enjoying real life. You know, I washed my car for the first time outside my house, and it was the best thing ever. You know, those are just some of the things I enjoy doing. Waking up, spending time with them. I coach my sons, 10 and under basketball team. They were a group of developmental kids, but if you see them play now, you enjoy the show. So,
Are you Coach Bowman or Coach Bo?
I'm Coach Bo. Yep, Coach Bo.
NaVorro, can you describe the emotion of, breaking down that last huddle, last time in the building, as a part of the organization as a player, quote unquote. How do you describe that moment? What goes through your mind when you're doing all that?
The smell, they all was funky. They always, that smell, you just remember you smelling like that. And, I had on a clean white shirt, but I still wanted to give them a hug. I still wanted to touch the pads and things like that. So I enjoyed it, man. And, guys like, you look like you still play. I can, but I'm content with it. I am glad I was able to be a Niner. There's plenty of organizations, but 49ers are really a historic and well-respected place, and would want to be anywhere else.
Looks like you might be able to play wide receiver if you rumors you lost some weight.
Well, I mean, that's some of the things that go into this game. I mean, you guys think we're like that. No, we're committed, and we work that hard, and we pay attention to our bodies, and we give it what we need to be successful on the field and go up against a 300-pounder who's built like that. I had to work towards that and maintain 245 or 240, whatever it was, and make my wife cook certain meals and things like that. But, it was all worth it. And waking up not going to the weight room, I could take a couple of days off, right?
How much weight have you lost?
20 pounds.
20 pounds.
Yep.
How did you do it? Just not going to the weight
Just
room?
not going in the weight room and
Not having to cook those meals?
exactly.
You mentioned your relationship with Kyle and John is in a good place, but was there animosity in 2017 when you were on your way out? Yeah,
I mean, I never saw myself being second to anyone, and when the draft happened, it kind of started moving fast, and I had just came off Achilles, so you need time to get back, and I just feel like it wasn't given to me. But there's pressure too when you're new and you move in, so you want to start making those changes. So I understood the business, but when I went to the Rays, I just wanted to show I could still play.
How
Yeah.
special was that defense?
Oh, it was the Steamrollers. Oh yeah, we were special. You know, we held each other up accountable. You know, Vic Fangio had a way of dealing with all of us. We were some, you know, we kept him on his toes. You know, week by week. We had some guys up front where you never knew what they'll do off the field. But when it was time to play, we all locked in and we made sure that no running back was going to get 100 yards on us until Marshawn Lynch did that. And that messed with us, honestly. But we all took pride in that.
I mean, with your career, like having that kind of that group of guys that was so special, is that something that you really look back on as a great memory?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I've seen it. I understand, you know, what it takes. You know, it's habit. You know, I walk on the field and you're like, you know, let's see. That's not it. You know, because you've seen it before. So, you know, but that's the process. You know, it didn't happen for us overnight. It took some bad seasons. Guys still sticking in there. Them adding a few guys, and we became that defense. But you know, it can happen. You know, but I think about the defense all the time. I talked to Alden the other day. You know, he's still Alden. Ahmad, Pat, you know, Deshaun, Golston, Dante. I talked to all of them, you know, and we understand what we had back then.
Considering all the success you had in your career, is there anything that you regret?
No. Honestly, no, I don't.
Not a single thing?
Not one. No, not one thing, you know.
Were you saying that play in Seattle, that
Yeah.
you had ripped the ball away, you were on the ground, and they ruled it a fumble?
Right.
I mean, it seems like you think that you should have been credited with
the
you,
ball.
You gave up your knee
Yeah.
for that play. You should have been credited.
Well, I've seen several pictures with the ball in my hand, my elbow on the ground. So, you know, I wasn't worried about the call at the moment when I tore my knee, you know. But when they told me that they gave it away, I was like, what? You know. But it's cool, man. Hopefully, all those mistakes that happened with NaVorro Bowman, yeah, what's the clock? About 3 more years. Hopefully, I get rewarded with something. So, cool.
All right, guys.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.